Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Kozina, aka Kozibear. You might know me from a few different places on the internet. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Respawning Fire podcast. I'm the social media manager for This Thing Rules, the podcast run by Brian Altano and Max Scoville about things that rule. And I'm also a part-time game designer working on various little video game projects right now. If you're a fellow KFBF, a kind of funny best friend like moi, perhaps you might have seen some of my games play out on the Kind of Funny Happy Hour podcast in the past. But enough about that. I'm here today to talk to you about a game that I love very dearly, and that game is Cookie Clicker. So a little bit of background. Cookie Clicker is an idle game, or incremental game, as Wikipedia calls it, that was created by French programmer Julien Thiennot. I'm assuming that it's pronounced Thiennot. I come from Quebec, which is the French part of Canada, and that's how you would pronounce it over here. But maybe it's like Thiennot, but I'm going to assume it's Thiennot because he's French. The objective of Cookie Clicker is basically to bake as many cookies as possible, which you initially do by clicking a giant cookie on screen with your mouse. So there's just this giant cookie in the middle of the screen. You click on it and you earn a cookie. You click on it, you earn a cookie. You keep clicking on the cookie and you earn more and more cookies. And then from there, you're able to purchase things that will increase your CPS. Or cookies per second. Things like other curses, for example, that will auto-click after a few seconds. Grandmas that will make you like 10 cookies per second. Cookie mines that will mine cookie dough and fresh chocolate chips for you, which I think they're like initially like 100 cookies per second. And cookie farms and all sorts of other interesting things that I don't really want to spoil, because if you've never played Cookie Clicker before, you are certainly in for quite the surprise of how weird and deranged this game gets. This is a game that spirals really out of control in ways that you would never have anticipated and are completely outlandish. This is a game that I initially started playing early on in college, back in 2013-ish, when the game was first released as a browser-based game, and have kind of played on and off over the kind of subsequent years. Ortale basically continuously updated the game over the course of the kind of following decade, following its release, with new content. And every time an update would roll in, it would serve as a great opportunity, a great motivator for me to come back and play more of the game. And most recently, thanks to the console port of the game, which came out back in May of this year, I've gotten back into Cookie Clicker with a vengeance. This is a game, I love this game for just a multitude of reasons. Number one, chief among them, the process of just continuously upping your CPS, your cookies per second, by clicking that cookie, and also purchasing more and more buildings and grandmas and whatnots to further bolster your CPS, is just incredibly addictive. This game has just a great loop where there will be a milestone that will be set in front of you. Can you get to baking 1 trillion cookies per second? It will seem utterly unobtainable. I'm only making like 17 million cookies per second. How can I get to 1 trillion? But gradually over time, you will build up your cookies per second. You'll acquire more grandmas, more buildings, more upgrades and whatnot that will increase your output. And then eventually you finally crest the hill and you're making 1 trillion cookies per second after several days of continuous play / leaving the game to idle by itself. And then another hill will appear in the distance. Can you get to 10 trillion cookies per second, 100 trillion cookies per second? The game's always introducing more and more just outlandish and incredible goalposts for you to overcome that seem impossible in the moment, but that eventually, with enough hard work and perseverance, you will be able to overcome. And the game does like such a good job of like giving you these goalposts to aim for in the form of in-game achievements. The game has like literally hundreds of achievements for completing cookie production related milestones, and also doing all sorts of other fun stuff in the game. And the game has this great system where the more achievements that you get, the more it'll in turn boost your cookies per second rate, basically turning the whole thing into a vicious cookie earning cycle of you earn cookies to unlock achievements, and then the achievements that you unlock will boost the amount of cookies that you're making, which will allow you to further unlock more achievements, more down the road. It's crazy stuff. The game beyond that, beyond the whole cookie earning loop of it all, has surprisingly great rating. All of the like upgrades and buildings and grandmas and whatnots that you purchase have flavor text written by Ortale himself that do a great job of just painting a picture of a warped reality in which your cookies have conquered everything and anything. This game, like, I would weirdly put Cookie Clicker up there as an excellent example of a game that has fantastic storytelling and that conveys such fantastic storytelling in such a kind of non-traditional manner. It's honestly done such a better job of immersing me into its weird cookie-filled world than so many other games that come to mind. And as an extra little bonus, the game even has a couple of mini games that you can unlock by purchasing certain things. For example, after you purchase the game's cookie producing farms, for example, you can unlock a gardening minigame where you can plant and crossbreed all sorts of plants related to the production of your cookies, which in and of itself is just a very addictive and satisfying process. But also it serves to further flesh out the world of Cookie Clicker, the weird world that you're living in, which is a lot of fun. There's a lot more Cookie Clicker related things that I could get into, but I don't want to spoil much more for people that haven't played it yet. And speaking of which, I know I stated earlier how I've gotten back into Cookie Clicker with a vengeance because of the console port, which came to the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox in May of this year. However, unless you really care about achievements and trophies, I personally would not recommend that you get the console port of Cookie Clicker because it's a little bit on the buggy side and it doesn't really have a good solution to the general lack of mouse support on these platforms. Basically, like you literally have to at least on PlayStation, press the triangle button and that will put your cursor into mouse mode. It's not very convenient. And so I would recommend that if you have never played Cookie Clicker before and you want to get into this game, play the browser version of it instead. The overall layout of the game is way more meant for a mouse and keyboard. It's just so much more at home there. It's something that you can leave idling in the background no matter where you are or what you're doing. Of course, you can also play it on mobile as well, and it works just fine on mobile too. And so, yeah, that's Cookie Clicker. Go out, play it. It's a cookie-rific time. And with that, happy gaming.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, talking about Superman.
Oh, cool. I could talk about Superman.
I could talk some more about Superman.
We know.
I'll bet a few people would want to get in on this.
I'm down.
You know it.
That sounds like fun. I'll do it.
Cool, let's do it. We can call the show Men of Steel.
And you can find it at certainpov.com.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yay.
CPOV.
certainpov.com.